Evaluation and accountability. I'll talk a little bit more about this as I go through the do loop. Basically, we want to look at how are things working. So we ask the question, how's school going? Parent says, he's doing better in school. How do you know? He told me. All right, one source of information, probably not the most accurate. So we would encourage the parent to get multiple perspectives. Have you called the school to check that out? Well, no, I haven't thought about that. Maybe we could work on that as a plan for tomorrow to really make sure. Who would you call? I don't know. You know, who do you think? Maybe the attendance office. Okay. Do you have a number? No. How do we get it? Okay. So we're working on how to really make sure that we're identifying what's working, what's not, and how do we know? Not just taking the youth, you know, what they say. We want to make sure that we're getting multiple perspectives. And lastly, we want to focus on generalization. We want to make sure that the skills that we're teaching families, while they may be focused on one particular problem, are also able to then be generalized to other problems that come their way. So we're helping parents really learn how to problem solve and understand that there are going to be problems. And my view is that we're moving from crisis to problem. My definition of crisis, which I stole from someone, is an adult not knowing what to do in a given situation. You know, that's a crisis. We move that to a problem where there are things I don't like, but I know how to deal with it. We all experience problems. They're always going to be a part of families. So if we can help them learn how to look at these sorts of things that before paralyze them in their tracks, I don't know what to do to, okay, I don't like it, but he skipped school and I've got a plan to work with it because it's similar to the plan we did about him doing his homework. We can take that technique around consequencing him and adapt it. So then we have this analytical process. So basically I said, MST is these 9 principles and this analytical process, which is basically a logical thinking tool that we look at the reason why youth was referred. We then get outcomes. What would you like to see different for this youth in the next 4 to 5 months? And we ask the youth, we ask the parents, and any other key participant. So from family to family, that can vary. Some families can be grandma, grandpa, it's going to be the next door neighbor, it's going to be the cousin, it's going to be the church pastor, it's going to be the coach, it's going to be, you know, it could be 15 people. Some families, it might be 4 or 5 people that are really committed and want to be a part of that youth. From the referral behaviors and these desired outcomes, we create these overarching goals, which are 2 to 3 or 4 goals that set up what are we focused on. So Johnny will increase school attendance by 90% as evidenced by school report and mom's feedback. So that's basically our termination criteria. So we want to make sure that we've got some ideas of what are we trying to do, because as you work with these families, there's problem after problem that can come up. So we want to make sure that we're grounded. These are the things that we're going to address. There may be other things that come up, but ultimately these are the things that we want to focus on, and we've got agreement by all of these people. Everyone's on board. This environment of alignment and engagement is so important, because if we've got someone who isn't in agreement with our goals, the likelihood of it taking place and sustaining is pretty limited.
Does that include the kid?
Not necessarily. It's great if the kid does want to participate. MST does not require the youth to participate in order to be effective. In Washington, they need to sign off saying that they agree to treatment. But if they come and say, I want to do this and go to the room, that's fine. What we find is that after about a month or so, kids at the door, fuming at the clinician about this change and ruining my family and this sucks, and they start floating around the kitchen and they're participating because the parents are making changes and it's impacting them. They lose power. But yeah, we do want to try and get their goals. And usually the goals like, I want to be left alone. Okay? What do you think it would take in order for us to leave you alone, or the courts to get you off probation? So that would be our focus. So once we've got our overarching goals, we identify one of these fits. So we start off with a fit of one of those goals around school, substance use, stealing, fighting, etc. We look at all the different reasons. We identify what's something that we can change. You know, so we look at all the different drivers that we might have. What can we actually do? We create an intermediary goal around that. We develop an intervention specific towards that, which, and this is greatly simplified, in order to get from A to B, so around truancy, in order to get a parent to call the school to even find out if the kid's attending, for some parents, that might take 2 or 3 weeks to build them up, to feel comfortable to go to the school, to call, etc. Other parents will do it right away. So it's very variable. So it's based on the strength of that particular family. So we set up an intervention, we do it, it's implemented, then we measure. Then we look and see advances or barriers. Did we get what we wanted? If we got what we wanted, if change is occurring, do we need to keep doing more of it? You know, have we gotten enough of it done? If we did, we can move on to the next goal. If we didn't, what's the next driver? Maybe we identified the wrong driver, or we made that change and it's still not enough, so we need to move to the next one. Or there might be additional drivers that we didn't take into consideration. For example, I had a parent, the issue was around contacting the school, and you know, after a week of calling, and did you call, and after a while they see, I found out my dad couldn't read. Never told me that, but that took a little bit of time to suss out that one of the drivers on why he wasn't calling, he was embarrassed, he couldn't, you know, look at the phone book and get the number because he couldn't read. So we had to relook at what an intervention could be to help dad get the support necessary so that he could get that, who could he ask that he could feel comfortable with to get the number for the school in order to find out how his daughter was doing. So this analytical process is what we do time and time again to make sure that we're not jumping the track. Because what's really easy with these very complicated, challenging families is our effort to want to try and help and randomly go and do things without understanding how is what we're doing, how is what we're doing, our development, actually looking at why the problem occurred in the first place and how that problem in the first place relates to why we're there and what the family wanted. So we only have a couple minutes. So MST is being used in over 30 states, 10 countries, a lot of places, a lot of jobs all over the world if you're interested. Got me to New Zealand, Australia, from Montana to Washington. There's 25 plus years of science, 14 randomized trials that have happened. A variety of different adaptations are also being trialed for problem sexual behavior, for child abuse and neglect, kids with poorly controlled diabetes, maltreatment, kids that are not compliant with HIV and AIDS. So there's a variety of different adaptations that are looking at this model and trying to take how do we look and change, have the family look at how we can make some changes. One of the long-term outcomes so far is from this Missouri Delinquency Project, and they're actually now working on 22-year follow-up studies that they don't have the data down yet. But what they did find is they followed these kids that participated in MST and followed them roughly, that's 14 years, is really 13.7 years. So the kids are now 22, 28 years roughly. And what they found is compared to the control group, the kids that did MST, 54% fewer arrests, 64% fewer drug-related arrests, 57% fewer days in adult confinement. So MST can make a difference. I'm going to just show you one slide related to this. So we're talking about the days confined, how many days kids are getting locked up. Here I am saying MST is a great program because it's only going to have kids locked up 582 days. You're looking at it, that's crazy. How is that successful? You're saying MST is going to work to make the changes. 582 days, 1.59 years. It's a lot of time over those 14 years. Until you look at the comparison group. You know, so MST is not the silver bullet. There is no one solution. What we do know is that doing these models can actually help change and reduce risk for these youth that they're going to get arrested for fewer crimes or less severe crimes. Some kids, not at all. Some kids aren't going to change. There is no research practice that's actually going to change every kid. MST, we know, can be effective between 35 and 74% of those kids that are referred.